Hi everyone, welcome to the Overseas Football Fan Channel. I am Rita Pandey and you are watching Transfer Tracker. If you are new to the channel, I would really appreciate if you like the video, click like and subscribe to the channel for more interesting football content. The transfer window is open again, and Metro in the UK have reported that according to sources in Spain, Arsenal have offered a massive £7.6 million contract offer to Nico Williams in a bid to lure him to the Emirates. Now, Nico Williams, the Athletic Club star, is rated at about £60 million and would be a fantastic addition to Arsenal's squad. And he would definitely be an upgrade on the left-hand side over both Martinelli and Trossard. Now, some people might be saying that Nico Williams didn't have a very good season last season, and while that is true, he did have a fantastic Euros and a very good previous season under his belt. And he does have still very good underlying numbers that can translate well in a Mikel Arteta side. So, can they get him? I think they can, but there is a twist in the tale in the sense that a number of sources in Spain are also reporting that Nico Williams might have already agreed a deal to go to Barcelona. And as we know, Barcelona's top priority is Luis Diaz, but more on that deal later. Moving on, there has been a major development in the Benjamin Sesko deal to Arsenal. Now, reports in Germany suggest that RB Leipzig have begun talks with Turkish club Göztepe over a potential move for Brazilian striker Romulo. Now, the Brazilian striker moved from Atletico Paranaense in Brazil to the Turkish club in January of 2024, but spent another year on loan at his former club and joined up with the Turkish side in January this year. Now, since arriving, he has impressed with 13 goals and 9 assists in 29 games for the Turkish outfit and clocking up close to 2,500 minutes. So it seems that RB Leipzig are preparing for life without Sesko, and as such, Sesko might be set to becoming the next Arsenal number 9. Now, that would be a brilliant deal for Arsenal because they will get their man. How well does that translate into the Premier League? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Talking of number 9s, Arsenal and Manchester United linked sporting striker Viktor Gyokeres has found a surprise suitor. With the reports emerging last week that he had rejected a move to United with a preference to go to Arsenal, now Juventus have joined the race for his signature. Now Juve are reportedly looking to free up space in their squad to be able to sign the striker. Juventus want to offer Gyokeres around £11 million a year pay packet that he demands, on top of the €80 million fee, which could rise to around €90 million for the striker. Now, according to Corriere dello Sport in Italy, to finance the fee and wages, Juventus are looking to sell up to 8 players this summer in a massive exodus, which would include the likes of Dusan Vlahovic and Douglas Luiz. Now, Juventus spent a combined fee of €120 million for the pair, but they only expect to recoup around £50 million from the sale, with the other 6 players contributing around £35 million to their transfer kitty as well. Now, that is not a lot of money, to be honest. And do you see this deal happening? Where will Viktor Gyokeres end up? Could he still end up at United? I think he could, really. Now, let me know in the comments what you think about this one. Speaking of Manchester United, they have been linked with a new striker this week. Now, transfer expert Fabrizio Romano as well as German journalist Florian Plettenberg have reported that United are interested in signing French striker Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt. Now, Ekitike has been previously linked with Liverpool and Chelsea in this window, although nothing concrete has emerged from those links so far. And after being rejected by Viktor Gyokeres, according to reports last week, United seem to have moved their focus to Ekitike. Now, Ekitike is a young and promising forward, but he's not a ready-made option like Viktor Gyokeres. And the pressure of Manchester United, I don't think that this can work. I think this will be too much. And it doesn't help that he will cost around £85 million, and United will have to sell before they can buy him. So I don't really think that this move can happen. Can United realistically sign Ekitike after signing Cunha and Mbeumo? Well, let me know in the comments. As we move on to Manchester United's other active target, Bryan Mbeumo, who is a subject of interest for Spurs as well since Thomas Frank's arrival. Now, Sky Sports reported earlier yesterday that Spurs have held initial discussions with Brentford about a potential move. But Sky have also reported that Man United are relaxed about their pursuit of the player, regardless of interest from Spurs. Now, this is, as sources claim, the player would prefer a move to United over Spurs. This is one to watch over the coming weeks of the window. Now, whether Spurs can lure Mbeumo away from United remains to be seen. But that is not the only transfer business they are looking to conduct this summer. According to French outlet L'Equipe, Spurs are interested in signing Rennes striker Arnaud Kalimuendo amidst interest from other Premier League clubs. Now, a product of the PSG Academy, the 23-year-old forward scored 17 times in the league and registered 4 assists last season. Now, he's a pretty promising player and really physical, which could help him adapt to the Premier League. Now, Newcastle are also interested in the Frenchman's signature after securing Champions League qualification last season. And Newcastle would be the more attractive project as of now, let's be honest. However, the London factor can always sway a transfer away. Now, as backup to Dominic Solanke or as an alternate, he would be a good option, but he's not set the world alight. So if Spurs have bigger ambitions, then I don't think this is the profile of striker that they should be looking at. For Newcastle, on the other hand, it could be a more interesting signing because of the team that is already built around Alexander Isak. He would just need to play a bit part role. I don't know if he's up for it, but I think that would be more suited in a new league, and that could help his career progress further. But amidst all this, what is being forgotten that it still remains to be seen whether Rennes will let their top goal scorer, which they signed recently, leave this summer. Moving on, Spurs are also looking for fullback reinforcements this summer with their interest in Monaco right back Vanderson. Now, Vanderson is the preferred transfer target for Barcelona to play at right back, which would allow them to free up Jules Koundé from the role. Now, Jules Koundé has filled in at a very big hole at right back for Hansi Flick and Barcelona last season en route to the La Liga and the Copa del Rey title. But they would prefer a natural right back in that position. Now, the fee quoted for the player is around 35 million euros. So I think the deal looks very unlikely for Spurs to spend that kind of money for a backup player, given Pedro Porro would be the first choice and has shown promise in recent times. Now, with the interest from Barcelona combined with the fee for a backup, I don't think this deal will happen for Spurs. But if you disagree, let me know. Speaking of the blog runner, Barcelona have set the spending limit for Luis Diaz at around £51 million, which is well below Liverpool's reported asking price. Now, while Liverpool have stated that the player is not for sale, Barcelona are still hopeful for a deal as Diaz remains their preferred target over Nico Williams. However, the limit that they are willing to spend for Diaz is £51 million. And with this report coming out, it would seem like the end of the transfer saga for Luis Diaz, as Liverpool are unlikely to sell for anywhere near that price and they would demand a huge sum in return. Now, Liverpool have sold players to Barcelona in the past for massive money, although in terms of Luis Suarez and Philippe Coutinho, but they are not very keen on selling their stars these days. So I think that Barcelona and Nico Williams looks like it's going to happen. Moving on to Liverpool, who are very close to completing the signing of Florian Wirtz with his medical scheduled for Friday this week. Now, we could see him being announced as a Liverpool player as early as the end of this week or early next week. Now, the deal will cost Liverpool a whopping £100 million upfront with a further £16 million in add-ons, which would break the British transfer record. Now, well, Liverpool have made a brilliant statement signing while strengthening at the summit by buying one of the world's best players for massive, massive money. Now, Liverpool don't generally go about their transfer business this way, but now with the FSG transfer record, what we can definitively say is if Liverpool want a player and that player wants to come, there's no fee that Liverpool won't match. Now, Wirtz may be the biggest transfer of the summer, but Liverpool are not stopping. Milos Kerkez from Bournemouth, well rumoured for a long time, is set to become a Red after confirming the same himself on a podcast with his father, who stated, "For us, Liverpool is the only option. We are not going anywhere else and we will not talk to other clubs. Personal terms have been agreed, we just need to sort out some details. But that is basically a done deal." Now, so it seems like Milos Kerkez could be the Liverpool player next week in a £45 million move, which would be a brilliant signing for Liverpool considering the price. Yes, it is a little bit on the hefty side, but he was the Premier League's outstanding left back along with Anthony Robertson last season, and he has been linked with Liverpool for quite a while now. And with this signing set to be completed, Liverpool and Manchester City in this transfer window are running really, really fast. Arsenal better catch up. Now, Milos Kerkez might not be the only good Premier League left back on the move this summer. Reports have emerged that Andrew Robertson could join Diego Simeone at Atletico Madrid, with Atletico Madrid looking to pay around €5 million for the player, with Liverpool wanting more for the legend. Now, most people thought that it would rather be Kostas Tsimikas who leaves Liverpool this summer from the left-back position, as Milos Kerkez was rumoured to be coming in. However, I was one of the few people who was very convinced that it might actually be Robertson. The reason for that is basically twofold. Number one, wages. Now, Robertson is earning close to £200,000 a week, which is the first team wages at Liverpool. Now, it would not financially make sense for Liverpool to have a player on starter wages sitting on the bench. On the other side, the second reason was that Slot throughout his career has valued versatility, and what he looks for is having a versatility in his squad, in the players that he has, and he's looking to have that at Liverpool in every position. So the stylistic similarities between Kerkez and Robertson's way of playing, and Tsimikas playing totally differently to these touchline fullbacks, would, I think, be the reason that Andrew Robertson would be the preferred option to move on, and Tsimikas would end up staying. Now, staying at Liverpool, Ibrahima Konaté is the subject of interest from Real Madrid, according to Spanish outlet Marca, if they can get him on a free transfer next summer. Now, Ibrahima Konaté is heading into his final 12 months of his contract at Liverpool, and Liverpool so far have not been able to tie him down to a new contract, although the new contract remains a top priority for Liverpool, and they are convinced that they will be able to tie him down. Now, this seems like more like a spurred up rumor than a real one. Like Marca have looked at Konaté and gone, oh, he's a good player, has 1 year left on his deal, and Real Madrid's recent transfer strategy that we saw with Kylian Mbappe and Trent Alexander-Arnold trying to get them on free deals, I think that fits in perfectly. However, it's not clear that Real Madrid actually need him, having sufficient defensive reinforcements and having signed Dean Huijsen, who's a very promising young centre-back this summer. So this does not seem to make a lot of sense and does not feel to have roots. So I don't see this happening. One player who could be heading to the exit at Anfield this season is Darwin Nunez. Now, Darwin Nunez is courting interest from Serie A champions Napoli as well as certain Saudi clubs, as reported by transfer expert Fabrizio Romano. However, it has been also stated by the Athletic's David Ornstein that the player is thought to prefer a move to Europe, and as such, Napoli are the tight contenders. Now, we know that Saudi club Al Nassr bid around £60 million for him in January, which Liverpool rejected. So it would be difficult to see them accept a similar price, or maybe they think there might still be a future for him at Anfield. And now, finally, moving on to the big one that you all have been waiting for. Alexander Isak, according to Fabrizio Romano, remains the subject of interest from Liverpool and is their preferred striker target even this summer. Well, now knowing how Liverpool operate, they tend to wait out for certain players. So if they can't get Alexander Isak in this window, they are likely to wait for him till next summer. However, the deal is not off the table yet for this summer. Before the end of the season, Alexander Isak was heavily linked to Liverpool, and Newcastle's Champions League qualification has complicated matters as they would not look to sell. And if they did, it would be for an astronomical fee, estimated to be close to £120 million. Now, Liverpool can definitely raise the money to pay that amount, so that should not be the financial side, should not be the problem, because Liverpool have sellable assets in their squad right now who would generate that money. And if Liverpool are able to sign him, or if this deal even progresses, I think it would have to be Alexander Isak going to Newcastle and saying, I want to go, this is my dream move, and want it to happen this summer. I'm old, I don't have a lot of time at the top level, and this is where I want to go. Given Newcastle are not supposed to be competing for league titles anytime soon, or just in the near future, I think the move would be good for Alexander Isak and Liverpool as well. And if Newcastle get the fee that is reported, it would be a good deal for them as well, because they could sign a replacement. However, I don't see this happening, or any movement on this happening towards before the end of the window comes close and looms near. That is where we might see this happen after a lot of exit transfers have taken over at Liverpool. In case that they cannot get Alexander Isak, it is very, very likely that Liverpool will not sign a striker and hold out with Darwin Nunez and Diogo Jota for another season, with Florian Wirtz being the only addition in the attacking front line. However, although you could also say that Jeremy Frimpong is there. So that's the end of today's transfer tracker. Let me know what you guys think. If you like the video, click a like and click subscribe for more transfer updates.